was great.
The house I stayed at, so I go up to, I finally found this house. It took me forever to find it. Walk up to it. It's a big blue, it's like a brick building painted bright blue.
Alright.
And there's a deck outside with like an outdoor fire, like pit, and like the patio. And you walk in, everything's like bright blue and bright red. Full kitchen for your use.
Is this for everyone's use?
Everyone's use. It's a community kitchen. You buy food. There's fridge. There's 2 big fridges. You put the food in the fridge, label the food, and you cook. Which is what I did. So that's how you save money for dinners. Like I bought about $11 in food, and I had 3 or 4 dinners with that. I bought pasta and stuff. So full kitchen. The first night I had a single, which is like full bed in like a beautifully painted room, like brand new artwork on the walls. Beautiful room. And yeah, that cost me 50 something. And then every night after that, I shared a room with like a dormitory style. It was like 30 something, but it was great, man. Full like downstairs, their basement. It looked like almost like a house, man. The basement it looked like my basement almost, but like triple the size.
Wow.
Yeah, triple the size. And then it had like flat screen TV, cable.
They had like the rec room or something?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. The rec room. So they had lockers there if you would just like, because there was a couple nights I didn't know I was going to sleep there. I thought I was going to hop on a train that night and come home. So I just like locked my stuff up in the lockers. They had pool table, they had like 3 or 4 couches, flat screen TV. Everyone was just sitting around talking. People from Ireland, people from Australia, people from Japan, people from Germany.
Wow.
It was great, man. That's the only, in my opinion, that is, if you're traveling alone, or if you're traveling with someone, it's the only way to travel, man.
If you want to make friends.
If you want to make friends, which I always do. I always, I want to meet the people. I want to meet people when I go places. I don't want to like, I'm not like a big fan of like touristy, like let's go here and let's have dinner here.
Yeah.
I want to go and meet people and find out the local spots.
Absolutely. That's the best way to travel.
Yeah. So they told me like the local places to go. That you can go to like a local bar and buy a jug of beer and bring it back, and just like have a couple beers and hang out. Yeah, it's really cool, man. Love it.
What was the highlight of Niagara?
Highlight of my Niagara Falls trip. The highlight of my Niagara Falls trip was, let me think. That's a great question. I had a couple really good moments. Like there was one night I went out by myself and I like went down to that touristy area and I found a bar and it was live music. And, I got a couple pints of Molson, Canadian beer, very tasty. So that was really fun. Then I hung out with it was me and these 3 Italian guys and this one Japanese guy. We all went out and had beers at this local place where they brew their own beers. That was great. There was one night I went hiking along the Niagara River. Actually, that was probably the highlight. I went hiking along the Niagara River. I rode my bike to this little spot and then walked down the cliff into the water. And I put my feet in the water and like it's called, I think it's Category 5 rapids, which are like really dangerous. So I found this little lagoon. And I walked into the lagoon. I was in the lagoon. Then I walked out a little more, walked a little more. Finally, I got to the last big rock. And right in front of me, I have all these pictures and videos of it. It's like water's like rushing by, like millions of gallons per second. It was crazy, man. And I realized that if I had fallen in that water, that's it. It would have taken all my strength to survive.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was probably the highlight.
So we would have seen you going down the Niagara Falls.
Pretty much. I took video and I was like, this might be my last video. And then I would cut it, because I would get a little bit farther and I would say, all right, this may be my last video. I'm going to try to reach that rock. If I don't reach that rock, if anyone finds this camera, I'm dead. So I would get to
you actually film yourself saying that?
Pretty much, yeah, I did. I totally did. So then I would get to that next rock and I would just say, all right, I got here. Now let me see if I can get to that rock. And I did. I got to the last rock. And someone had been there before because they spray painted something on the last rock. And I just sat there, had my drink, and just chilled out. Took a whole bunch of photos. It was really cool, man. I had a great time.
So you were by yourself at this point?
Yeah, I was by myself. Well, most of the trip I was by myself. I mean, I had dinner with the Swedish girl one night. I came back with the two Irish girls. That night I hung out with the Italian dudes, and there was a guy who was working there. What was his name? I can't remember his name, but he was real cool. We had a couple beers, a couple nights.
So let me ask you both, what are your thoughts about traveling on your own, traveling by yourself, as opposed to traveling with friends or?
That's a good question, man. I feel like I need to travel with people next time because I've traveled by myself. You know, I've done this little trip, Canada. I did a lot of Mexico traveling by myself, and it's cool and everything. You get to go exactly where you want to go,
Yeah.
but you know, you need to. I don't know. Next time I want to go with people, you know, friends or.
I would say, like, I really needed to do this trip by myself. You know, so it was great for me to do everything, and also the event. There are plus and minuses. Obviously, if you're traveling by yourself, you plan your days
Yeah, that's true.
entirely the way you want to. You know, so you plan your entire itinerary based on what you want.
And you can stay as long as you want.
You can stay as long as leave whenever you want.
Yeah.
Stay up, you know. But at the same time, it can get like I only had maybe 2 or 3 real conversations the whole week.
Yeah.
The rest of them were speaking to staff.
But that's because you still stayed at a hotel.
Yeah.
You go back to your room, you close your door, you're not talking to anyone.
Exactly.
You know, so you go to a hostel, you can't go to a room to go lock away. You know.
Yeah, that also that's another another thing about it. So the plus and minuses. I think I needed something like this time, but the next time definitely I would like to go. See, I would have liked to have made some friends here, so because I do want to go back to Madrid.
Yeah.
And then next time I go back, you know, they can probably show me around,
Yeah.
you know, in the city, and I saw the touristy things.
Hostel it up, man. I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, next time. But even in a hostel, who do you run into? You run into other tourists.
But
They don't
that's
necessarily
not necessarily true though, because I hung out. Okay. Another highlight. Wednesday night there was a giant thunderstorm. They had tornado watch in Canada. So
Because of
no, it was a different storm. So me, I can't believe I got this guy's name. Me, this dude that I became really good friends with, and like 2 other staff. It was all me and 3 staff. We sat out in the storm under a awning, watched the storm, and then we were drinking and stuff. So the guy was like, "You want to go ride down to Niagara and watch the lightning over Niagara Falls?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I hopped in this car with a whole bunch of people from Canada, and we rode onto the storm. And he drove right along and stopped right in front of the major falls in his car. And we all got out, and it was pouring. And we were watching. So all these people were from Canada.
Yeah, but that's like
This guy lived 20 minutes away from Niagara Falls and grew up 20 minutes away from Niagara
but
Falls.
that's rare. Like
It's not
when
rare.
you go to Europe and you go into a city,
Yeah.
most of the tourists, and I stayed at hostels before, most of the tourists are there, you know, staying on their way to another city.
Right.
You know, they're doing they're backpacking.
Yeah.
So rarely do you find someone that's really
Yeah, you're right.
knows the city inside out.
Yeah.
It's not unless you actually know somebody. Like I actually wanted to meet a Spaniard or someone from Madrileño, and you know,
That's true. You're right.
that way I can get to know the city.
But that girl that I know in Valencia, I met her in a hostel in Mexico.
You should definitely take her up on your.
I mean, I don't know if I don't know. She definitely hasn't like told me that I can come and stay. But if I go, I know she would.
Reach out to her, you know.
Yeah, no. Actually, she did invite me, you know, but I can't afford it, you know.
They say Valencia is one of the coolest cities.
Yeah, it's like if I were to go anywhere in Europe, it would obviously be it would be either no, it would only be
Valencia.
Spain. It would only be Spain.
Spain's a great country. It's
you
big
know,
too.
yeah.
It's a lot to see.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to practice my Spanish there, you know. So that's the only place in all of Europe I will probably go if I do go to Europe.
A great place to practice Spanish.
How about you, Ron? Where would you like to go? Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world?
Yeah, travel for like a month.
I think I would like to go to Italy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Italy. I would go to Italy.
I've been to Italy before.
Italy, China.
China sounds cool, man.
Yeah, I like to go
China, definitely. So much history there also.
Yeah, China sounds great. All the Chinese people. I mean, the girls were very. They seemed very.
Friendly?
No, not that they were unfriendly. It's just that they seemed very closed in. Like there was always like 3 or 4 girls. I believe they were Japanese, the ones that were staying. They seemed very like closed in. The guys were like very open to talking. And I met 2 Japanese guys, but the girls seemed like a little bit timid.
Yeah.
And like, rightfully so. You're traveling, you don't know anyone, you know. So. But I made a friend in Japan. You know, he's like, whenever you come, he spoke terrible English. But Keisuke.
Okay. He invited you to Japan.
Yeah. I said whenever you're in New York, man. I said, yes. We talked about anime. Yeah. Should we cut it? How long have we been talking? Let's check.
I think they're about to.
George was like he's about to pass out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think we spoke for about 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, we're gonna end this.
Yes.
Cafe
George
chat.
George walked away. He's done.
We just played some basketball. All right, George.
All right, man. All right, guys,
Listeners out there.
Listener.
No,
Listener. How many have we had so far?
Oh,
Like
actually,
15?
last time was like
And,
50 views.
This is a shout out to special shout out goes out to Johnny. During the last one, I called him out on on a story about him, pretty funny story, and I used him. So I feel bad for that. So Johnny, I'm calling.
Johnny actually
giving you
subscribed to our YouTube
he
channel.
did?
So.
Oh, very good.
Johnny's one of our biggest fans. Johnny, if you're out there, this one's for you.
What's that, Mr. Salazar? You're punk when I'm hanging out with us. All right, man.
All right, so that's it. That's Cafe Chats.